Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is Coach Tara, and I'm coming to you today from my home office here in Enosburg Falls, Vermont. We're having a snow day, big blizzard coming. So I decided this is the time where it's really quiet in the house. It's really early in the morning. Granddaughter's not here yet, and I would be able to make a video for you that I put together some slides last week. I've been really digging into the neuroscience and trying to figure out and learn about how our minds work and how it has a direct influence on our prosperity or our poverty. And last week I've been working really hard and studying really hard and feeling really good and loving the new things that I'm learning. And I came across a day where I got really I had one of those days, old money things kind of flowed into my life. I'll give you I'll just tell you what it is. Um, I'm currently renting this apartment, and I started getting these phone calls from a realtor saying that this house was up for sale. And I got really, really nervous. And instead of, immediately saying, oh, well, that's what happens. People own rental properties and they put them up for sale. It's no big deal. You're fine. I immediately got really insecure about my housing situation. So I got right back into the books. I got right back into the group that I'm involved with the Winning the Game of Money. I got right back into my course, got right back into my inner size. And boom, lo and behold, boom, there was this particular thing that somebody posted about the 10 things you can do right now to convert worry into confidence. And it's by a famous neuroscientist, Mark Robert Waldman. Now, I had never heard of it before. But I'm really excited that I've heard of them now. And I said, you know what? These things exactly, I was able to apply these things right away and really turn it around and just see it in a better light and just go ahead and be more confident about it. Go ahead and pick up the phone and find out what's going on. Go ahead and call the landlord and say, hey, I know if you sell the place and the lease, I want to make sure my lease is really solid so that, if somebody buys it, I've got, I know I have time, I have a place to be, that I can actually live here. I don't want to ever feel like a transient again. So, sure enough, when I called him, it's so funny. Once I got my mind straight, I'm sure that if I hadn't got my mind straight, it might have been a different situation. I called him up and he's chatting about how cold it was. And he was like, oh, I sent out your new lease last week. And lo and behold, he sure did. Yesterday I opened the mail and there it was. And it was for an additional year instead of an additional 6 months. So super excited, and I'm super excited to share this with you because I know that in your everyday dealings in your life, there are things that are going to knock you back, even though you're working really hard on moving forward, that are going to make you feel unconfident. They're going to make you feel shaky. They're going to make you question if what you're doing is even working. This right here is really awesome. Now, I want you to know that every one of these slides is literally Mark Robert Waldman's words. My additional content will be, as I talk, the things that are not on the slides are the things that I'm saying. So I hope that you enjoy this. Let me turn off my phone so that, or at least turn it down so we don't hear the bloop bloops in the background. And I just want to thank you so much for listening in, and I hope that you get a lot of value from this. And this is going first into the Mind Reset group, and then after that, in about 24 hours, I'll release it to my blog, and I hope that you enjoy it. And if you find value, don't forget to go ahead and share it. Okay, so number 1, find an anchor word or phrase. So when you're starting to feel a little yucky, or maybe even before then, it's probably better to prepare yourself before then. Start creating a sentence that you say to yourself. I will succeed. I will have peace. I am focused on. Go ahead and sit down and brainstorm some of those kind of things and repeat this throughout the day, especially when negativity arrives. Number 2, make a list of all your successes and accomplishments. List your achievements over the past year and immerse yourself visually in those memories. You'll immediately feel the effects. This is an immediate cure for this, okay? Now, sometimes when you're down and out, or if you're like me and you can swiftly move into a very depressed state, this might be a little bit of work. However, if you put the work in, you will immediately start seeing results, because once I started sitting down and thinking about where it is I've been over the past year, all the different things that have happened, moving up to Vermont from Florida and how that ended, and how there was a lot of greatness and sadness involved with the whole thing. The bottom line is I was successful at relocating, getting closer to my family, and moving on with my life. So there were many, many things that happened over the past year that I could get really excited about. So I went ahead and just immersed myself in that feeling that I felt while those great things were happening. You will immediately feel those effects. Number 3, each day identify a core value word that gives you a sense of meaning and purpose. Write it down and reflect on it once every hour as you yawn and stretch. This keeps your stress low and turns off the worry centers in your brain. The one word that this is one thing that I've always done. The one word when I find myself getting really anxious or really nervous or, just getting really worried about stuff, I always fall back on the word love. If I am swimming in my brain in a pool of self-pity, I immediately turn on the love, and it takes about 3 loves and it starts to melt away, and the pool becomes a beautiful salty oasis in a gorgeous Caribbean place. Find a word that makes you feel good when you say it. It makes you feel good by the 3rd time you say it, and make that your little word, your secret. Maybe even go down to a local like rock store, where they sell crystals and whatnot, and maybe find a rock that makes you feel that way or that you can associate that word with, or even find a rock that has it inscribed on it. Whatever that word is, keep it near and use it all the time because it's one of your tools, okay? Number 4, stay focused on simple goals. Write down 1 goal each hour to stay focused. At the end of the day, write down 3 things that you did well. Also write down 3 things you feel grateful for. Do this for 7 days, and the research shows that self-esteem increases for 3 months. So imagine putting in the work for 7 days, and it's not even really work, but I like work, so work doesn't bother me. That word doesn't bother me. Some people, it'll make them crazy. Imagine being able to apply yourself for 7 days to one thing and have the benefits of that application take them through 3 months. What? That's fantastic. Sometimes we have these big goals, especially as most of the people that are watching this video are either, home-based business entrepreneurs, thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, or running their own small e-commerce business, or even a small brick and mortar. The people that are watching this have really big goals. Even if they haven't really gotten them written down, they think about things in a grand way. And sometimes those giant dreams, if we don't work on the inner stuff and work as we go, can be almost counterintuitive. They can almost be like, some people might say, well, I'm never going to have, a 3,000 square foot beach cottage on the ocean in Montauk and have a beautiful sprawling log cabin in a micro farm in the mountains. That'll never really happen for me. That's not reasonable. So our inner dialogue will sometimes talk us out of those incredible dreams that we have for ourselves. So sometimes we need to just pull it back and get focused to the minute. This is a very common concept in AA. 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. Sometimes when you get overwhelmed and you're feeling, really inapt, it's time for you to get to the second or to the hour or to the day and go ahead and do that. And guess what? If you do that for 7 days straight, you're going to feel those effects for 3 months. That's freaking awesome. Number 5, when you notice a negative thought, suppress it. This is one of my all-time favorites, okay? Contrary to what psychologists used to say, the research on thought suppression is robust. So when you find yourself ruminating on a worry, fear, or doubt, just say no. Tell that inner voice to shut up. This is a technique I actually learned in my early 20s, and I learned it from a really simple self-help book called How to Fall Out of Love. I can't remember who wrote it. However, I was a young mother, and I had just broken up again with my high school sweetheart, whom I loved very much, and I was done with it. I was tired of the roller coaster of that relationship. Okay, so I said, I want to make sure that next time he comes back, because he always did, that I'm not in the position, or no longer willing to be, ready to go right back to work with them. And it was, it just had to be over. That if there was any hope for it in the future, I had to fix that part of me, of allowing that kind of thing to keep constantly going on and on and on. So I picked up this little book, or my friend brought it over something, and it was just like this little 50-page to 80-page book. And the first thing it said was, get a rubber band that fits on your wrist without taking off your circulation. And every time that you feel that feeling of, oh my gosh, whatever it is that's making you feel really bad, snap it. Snap that as, pull it back. Don't be shy. Snap it. Your brain will stop being addicted to that feeling of disappointment. It'll stop. Now, you don't have to be that extreme because that can be painful. However, you've got to learn to start saying no to that inner voice that starts bringing up those feelings, and you start stewing. It's really, really important, and I really believe in it. There are other ways to do it, but you could use your keyword or your phrase that you invented earlier on in this video, and start using those things, because it is very, very helpful, and it was starting to be helpful for me. I actually found a rubber band last week during that day where I got all freaked out and started using it. Now, if suppression doesn't work, use cognitive reframing. Ask yourself, are you exaggerating? I'm not trying to belittle you here, because we all do this, okay? Is your worry really real? Remember, worrying about a problem doesn't help you solve it, okay? But looking for solutions and remaining positive stimulates the success circuits in your frontal lobe. That's right. It really, really does. So when I was thinking about the problem that I thought I was having, about the house being up for sale, and am I secure in my housing, and I just feel like I got here, I'm still not fully unpacked, what am I going to do? All those things that started running through my mind. I also started applying the question, is that really something that you've got to worry about? Do you really think that this is a big deal? Is this really happening the way you think? Do you really think that in 30 days you're going to be forced to move out of the house that you just moved in 6 months ago? Do you really believe that all the work that you've done is about to fall apart? Do you really believe that? And when I started thinking about it, it was kind of nonsensical for me to continue to be worried. I had to just go ahead and pick up the phone, call the landlord, get in touch with the realtor, look up the law on the internet to find out what my rights were, so that I could be more confident and knowledgeable about the situation that I was putting a lot of anxiety on. Okay? So, is it really real? Is it really as big as you think it is? And remember, getting worried about it doesn't help you solve it. When I started to put it into one of those cognitive reframing points, I started to be able to be in a position of action taking. Literally, this whole thing happened in less than 24 hours. I was able to fix it. Now I have no worries. You know what I'm saying? If a problem is so big, and you apply these concepts that I'm sharing with you, if you can turn that around in 24 hours, it probably isn't as big as you thought it was the first time you got worried about it. The biggest problem with the worry that you've got is the effect it's having on your body if you don't do anything about it. Okay? That's the biggest problem. Okay. Number 7. If suppression again fails, practice mindfulness. You should be doing this anyway. Okay? So sit back and observe without judgment. Stop doing that to yourself. All of the thoughts and feelings that flow in and out of your consciousness. Mindfulness teaches your mind and your brain to disconnect from the emotional impact of negativity. It stimulates both the success and self-love circuits in your brain. When you mindfully watch your thoughts, sudden bursts of insight often occur. That means, even if you got to sit back and just accept that you're really worried about something, and just go ahead and see that, and kind of pull yourself out of your own mind, and look at the fact that you're worried, and just let it move and flow in and out, and then let your thoughts move on to the next thing, and to the next thing. Do that for some time. Do it for 5 minutes. Do it for 15 minutes. Do it for an hour. Whatever it takes. Get yourself relaxed and practice mindfulness. Number 8. You feel like you still can't free yourself of those negative thoughts? Well, this is a really awesome one. This particular one is something that you might If you listen to Abraham Hicks at all, you have heard this over and over again. Maybe not in these words, but in these, it's pretty amazing. Let me go ahead and read it. A meta-analytic review of study of mindfulness and acceptance based on therapy show that an "oh well" approach is one of the most effective ways for dealing with the most emotional problems. It's also one of the most effective ways to manifest. So if you see something come into your existence that you didn't mindfully create, that you didn't really want to be there, that you maybe your subconscious mind created it because you haven't done the work to fix it at that time when it was created, because it only shows up when it shows up, right? When you're like, oh well, this too shall pass. Start practicing that aloof nonchalantness about things, and you will be surprised, especially when it comes to getting the things that you've been working for. You should be like, oh, well, yeah, I knew I was going to have that. And you let yourself get excited for a little bit and then immediately put it in its place, put it neutral so that it's one of the, if you continually to want something that you've already gotten, you're sending a signal to your brain and to the universe that you still haven't gotten it. So practicing that nonchalant, oh well, so it is kind of attitude, both to your pain and your gain, is going to help you produce the kind of life that you're looking for. Number 9, after acceptance, begin practicing some love and kindness and forgiveness to yourself. Practice meditations. We all need to do this. I don't care how amazing you are already. We need to send love to ourselves on a daily basis, consciously reflecting on the small accomplishments we achieve every day and the people in our lives who care for us. Excuse me, I have to cough. This is so important. Self-love, self-acceptance is a humongous deal, and it will help you build an unshakable foundation in which worry becomes something that you used to do, and confidence is something that you live in and have. And number 10, are you still stuck? Seek help. Seek coaching. Many colleges have low-cost programs if you're financially strapped, and if you have the financial resources, hire a coach. There are so many different coaches out there. Take a program. I just started to take the Winning the Game of Money program because I knew what I needed to do. I knew that I needed to change some pathways and neural pathways in my brain to help me move on to the kind of place that I really truly am in. I just need to express it physically into my world. So make sure you find something. Make sure you find a coach, get involved in a program, whatever it is you need to do, and make it happen. If you have to do it by yourself, get to the library, start borrowing some books, all that kind of fun stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help, and I thank you very much. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.